Morning everybody, and welcome to today's Q&A. You may notice the slightly different surroundings on today's Q&A. This is my new addition. I bought a polytunnel. I built a tiny little greenhouse, one of them little ones you get off Amazon, like 33 quid. And I stuck some tomatoes in it and some chillies, a bit of cucumber, a bit of pepper, that kind of stuff, like, you know, some strawberries. Wife fancies some strawberry. And within 3 weeks it was full. So I went, So the missus says, she's into plants, you may have noticed. And she went, you're going to need a bigger one. I kind of went a bit far the other way. So I've now built this thing. And she went, it's big, isn't it? I went, yeah. Yeah, it's big. I'll find a way to hide it. I'll block some stuff over it, something like that. But yeah, so here we are with geraniums and begonias and marties over there, and over on this side we've got strawberries and stuff. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. No idea at all. But I always say that shouldn't stop me getting involved. When I joined the exchange, I had absolutely no idea what I'm doing. You turn up a distribution centre at 5 o'clock in the morning like a rabbit in the headlights going, I don't get this. But you pick it up pretty quickly. It's what we politely call the Cousin Daniel principle. Because Cousin Daniel's a cameraman, he's big time Charlie cameraman. And he said, this guy come up to me and he said, where does the green and the yellow leads go? And he said, I just went like that, and looked at the bloke like he just dribbled on his shirt. He said, then it occurred to me 2 years ago, I didn't know where the green and yellow leads go. In fact, I didn't even know what the green and yellow leads did. So you just get involved. So I kind of think, well, I'm going to get involved. I'll make mistakes. Tomatoes will die and all this kind of stuff. I mean, fruit's cheap. I mean, the amount of money I've done on this so far. But then I'm kind of figuring that if I can get it all the year round, and it comes back year after year, and also I can store plants in it during the winter that die, and then you've got to sort of replace them next year. I'm hoping it's a long-term project, and it's fun. I like it in here. It's kind of peaceful, and there's plants. It's a bit warm. I'll give you that, but I suppose that's kind of the point. If it's not warm, it's kind of defeating the object as being like a greenhouse, isn't it? So, anyhow, it's got nothing to do with the exchange. So, this week, and also on the subject of not knowing what you're doing, this week has been my first proper week as a shipper. I haven't driven a truck all week. Well, not short of having to do it mechanics and getting Harry's loaded for him because he had to get back for his dog. Yeah, so I have just been running the trucks all week, and it's gone fine. I suppose it's not exactly like you don't know what you're doing, because I'm doing exactly what I'm getting some principles together of what you need to be a decent shipper on the CX, and I'm going to give you 5 points. We'll do a video of 5 points you need to be a CX, and I guarantee you 95% of shippers out there will fall on point number 5. So stay tuned for that video coming in the future. But in the meantime, Steve, the nefarious Steve Campbell, he met a guy at City Plumbing in Eastbourne who said, nice pen. So if you're watching Kay Corbin, hello mate. He said, it seems to be a thing now on the subject of nice pen. I forgot mine again. There seems to be a thing now. Take care, take money, or nice pen. Because you say nice pen, you get to keep the pen. These pens, they're not dear. They're on Amazon for about, I don't know, 13 quid. Really good pens. Nice for your PODs. Worth bearing in mind. So, this week's video was on pump trucks and putting the marks on pump trucks. So what we got to say about it? Shane Hardy says, great idea, Pete. I would like to put, I would put STD for standard and EUR for Euro. Quicker and easier that way. And he's probably right, actually, because I wrote it and the forks are only that big, aren't they? So it's much better to just put 3 letters in and try and write the whole name. But you kind of, even if you just did 2 marks, you would know which one's the Euro and which one's the standard after, you know, because you would just know. But Charles Layton says, or you could just put the pump truck until the front wheels touches the piece of wood at the front of the pallet. Mate, I've tried that. For 2 years I've done it. And you think, I'll get the hang of this. And you never do. Now you've got to bear in mind, if there's something on that pallet, you can't actually see, you can't see through the pallets. I mean, most pallets have got stuff on them. They don't ask you to move an empty pallet in a lorry, do they? And you think, is it in? Is it on? That'll get a mark from here. That sort of, you go, Yeah, that's right. And you got to pump it up, and then you got to drag it, and it's dragging. You think, is that all right? So you let it down a bit, put it back a quarter of an inch, pump it up. Oh right, it's moving now. It's painful. You think you can tell. You think you'd hear the chunk 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 chunk. Right, that's through now. You can't. I can't. Maybe there are people out there that are better than me that can. But for those of us that can't, or those of us that even still don't need to listen to the, not like Daredevil, I'm listening to the ching 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 ching. I just put a mark on it. There, it's in. And I've tried it with a mark, and every time I've done it, and I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks because I made a video a few weeks ago. I thought this is actually working far better than I thought it would. I thought this would kind of be pointless, but I've done it, and it's just for a marker pen and 2 minutes of your time, it's a blinder, I tell you. Godzilla's, he says, nice one, Pete. He says, worth having something on a truck, as the amount of times I've had to ask for my pump truck back after they somehow confused my nice red shiny new Toyota truck for their rancid yellow other one. A friend of mine has his business name on his trucks, trolleys, and even his straps. Straps is probably overkill. My mate up the road, he's got a blinding line in straps. He has got loads of them. I've got to do a video on that. But I keep saying, I've got to do it for you. And he said, I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm like, do you realise how many people watch this channel? And you've got the best straps and you're cheap. And he's like, But I will. I'll do one when I'll do a video on it, actually. I'll write that down. But yeah, but putting it on the pump truck, certainly right, Van Gogh and a phone number. And that way, if there's a chance that someone go, that ain't our truck, I'll just ring the number on it, and you can send out them trucks for about what? With the VAT, 200, 220 quid for a new one. There's a place in Milton Keynes that does pretty good ones, and they're very accessible and they're decent firm. But they ain't cheap, are they? 200 quid, I mean, in a van, that's like a day's work in a Luton. So, yeah, good. I think you want to get it now down there, you know. So, Joe Sargent, he says, good info. For those who need to know, I learned the hard way doing Class 2 multi-drop with an electric pump truck, which are great until you get stuck on gravel. Any pump truck on gravel is a nightmare. Pump trucks, if you get stones, don't try it. John had to do one the other day. That was my fault. I give him a pallets job, 800 kilos onto a woman's driveway, and I kind of went, how did the job go? He's a better driver than me. He's much professional. He just went, no, it's fine. He said I just reversed onto the driveway, dropped the tail onto the driveway, and it just went straight in. He's a superstar. Love the guy. But yeah, if you see stuff. Once when I was in the Luton, I had to move an Arga down an alleyway across stones into this guy's door, which was about that big. We done it. The two of us done it, but it wasn't fun. Back in the days of doing the Eusons, 5 o'clock in the morning, delivering fridges. Long time ago now. You forget how long you've been doing this, you know. And the final word comes from Ian, who says, Pete, I'm doing the same thing on my gentleman's part. One line for the wives, one line for the girlfriends. You don't always have to drag it down to the base level, mate. I'm going to see him up there in a minute. He's up the yard, probably, presumably. Every time I get up there, he says, I say morning. Is it? Bit late. What do you think I do in my mornings? I have other stuff to do, like this. It doesn't just magically appear. He's a good guy. I love him. He's great. Right, so we did the one on ULEZ. The ULEZ is still carrying on. Mr. Used Car Guy says, it's definitely about control and ending freedom of movement. The M42 by me in Solihull is getting tall yellow double cameras all down, it seems. Paper mile is coming. I like one of the guys said, I think they're average speed check cameras, but it is still just another way of finding you. The kid was on a speed course this week, 80, 90 quid. Then she picked us up from a restaurant. It's my anniversary on Thursday, and drove 40. I'm going, Mo. Yeah, and the other thing, we had 2 fines this week. ULEZ from Newcastle, 120 quid, and one of them went into the zone again, £500, and that one hurts. So now I'm shipping, because I said to him, we got Newcastle, and I went, has Newcastle got a zone? I went, yeah. And now, no Bradford, no Newcastle, no Bristol, no Bath. The only one I will potentially tolerate is Birmingham, and that's if I'm struggling for their second job, and and I'll put money on it. I don't know. I'm not paying these zone charges. You don't have to. Find them another job from somewhere else. It's just painful when they come through. It's irritating. Shane Hardy says, Brown Car Guy and Jeff Buys Cars are the two that I recommended. Found them after looking at the ULEZ and tried to help the fight. P.S. nice pen. It doesn't work if you know it. If only I do it. If you don't. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah, have this one. There you go. Have that one there. I'll just put it for the camera. There you go. Just pull it down. Come out your end. The magic of television. Smoke and mirrors. Right, what we got on the wise guys this week. Mad Kid said, hey Pete, I was wondering if you could help me as you know stuff about CX and HX. I've got to be honest with you, yes I do now. I would say before, I don't know what I'm talking about. Everything I say is wrong and largely erroneous. They've rung me, by the way. Finally, I'm in touch with a guy who kind of says, you know, because you are supposed to get a recommendation. And he said, well, we don't know why you haven't been why you haven't ever got any money out of this. And I kind of went, no, neither do I. But there might be one coming. They're going to do me a link, and they've said that if anybody signs up through the link, I get 50 quid, bit of cheddar cheese for Pete, and you get an extra free month. So everyone's a winner. If you're going to sign up, if you decided you're going to sign up, rather than you signing up and getting the normal rate, me getting nothing and the CX getting all the dough, I'll get 50 quid off them, you'll get an extra month, and they'll get a customer. So that's the way that I'll be doing a video on that, presumably. So when I get the link and all that, when I get the link and all that kind of stuff. But yes, so you know about the sexy HX. I was talking to an Arctic driver who told me he was starting on the HX, but he doesn't have. I was under the he didn't have a trailer. I was under the impression you need a trailer for HX, or is it just loads? I'm not sure, but most of the loads that get posted on the CX will say Arctic 20 pallets, Arctic weighs 10 tonne, 15 tonne, something like that. So yes, they're not going to expect you just to turn up with a tractor unit, plug it in and drive off. But if anyone knows any differently, I know sometimes the Amazon mob, they don't necessarily do it. But so we put that one out to the wise guys. If you're running on the HX and you're running an Arctic, do you need the trailer? Or can you just work a tractor unit? I'm pretty sure you need the trailer, but let's see what comes back. David Scotty Man says, hi Pete, it's Dave, Big Mac Courier Scotland. Hello Dave. He says, I did ask some time back about how you're getting on with the thermal printer you purchased. My wife, who is Chinese, bought me one back after I saw your video, and you mentioned you had one. So I was just wondering how to find it. Does it work on a phone okay? How you find it? Does it work on a phone okay? As I seem to have had a few problems, i.e. not working with Android phone, Galaxy A22. Dave, I've never had a thermal printer. I once said about the idea of getting a laser printer, because I've just got, all I've got in the office is upstairs is just like a normal standard home printer, like an inkjet. I've never carried one in the cab. I could not be bothered with the ball ache of having to set it up and the battery and charging the battery and having the footwell and all that kind of stuff. The only advantage being that you tend to be able to then print PODs off on your phone, which normally you only require if you're going into airports. And who wants to go into an airport anyway, because you spend forever sitting there and then you ring them up for waiting time, which doesn't come. So no, I've never actually had a thermal printer, but if anyone out there is using an in-van printer or a thermal printer or a lot, something, the portable printer, and then we get back to Dave, how are you getting on with it? And let me know if you're having any difficulties or any things that you use to solve the difficulties. And like we do as part of the workers cooperative, I will pass the information on and everybody will be better off. Everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. Anu Michael says, can I convert my S60 Euro 5 to a Euro 6, and how much does it cost in the UK? Right, again, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say no. You just can't do it. You can't fit a Euro 6 engine in a Euro 5 van. They're just totally different designs. They just won't fit. The bolts won't fit. Nothing will fit. It would cost you so much money. It would probably cost you, potentially could do it, but I imagine it would cost you more than it would to buy a new van. But I could be wrong. I know back in the day when we had Shirley, when it all started. This all started about 20 odd years ago with catalytic converters, and I spent about $1,000 fitting a catalytic converter on my truck, and ultimately it killed my truck. Which is why I always said, if I ever have a band, my first album, I'm in a band, I'm in two bands, Wibble Wibble and Biscuits. Don't ask. If I ever have a band, or the band ever brings out an album, I want to call it A Cat Killed My Shirley, because it did. A catalytic converter blew my truck up. But yeah, no, I don't think you can. But once again, it's on the wise guys. If anybody knows different, let me know, and we'll pass it on to Andrew Michael and let him know. I think in the end, it's just pay the fines or don't go in, which means don't go in. Right. Trucks. Domain name guy. He's got a bit on trucks here. He says, what are the 23 trucks like to drive? Last 7.5 tonnes I drove were 2018 DAF, 2019 DAF. He's all about the driverless, is the main name guy. He says, all but driverless apart from the steering. So I suppose that's cruise control, isn't it? Yeah. which is really not really, the driving really is the steering, isn't it? They're now, the UPS are now using electric driverless trucks and vans that are using Google driverless Whammo vans and trucks and stuff like this. It's all part owned by Microsoft. Basically, there's this Deep Fruit AI, which founded in 2019, and it's gone from nothing to completely map-free driverless cars and trucks using the Microsoft software. I think what its basic theory is that you're going to have to need to retrain, guys, because this driverless thing is coming in. I did a video for you a million years ago on the future of it, and I wasn't happy with it, so I never put it out. And then you disappeared for a while, then you reappeared. But I will do something, I think, on future, where it's going. And I think there will come a time. My mate Dave drives a black cab, and he's Dave. He used to be Dave the Crisp. He's still Dave the Crisp, but he drives a black cab now. Like my mate Paul. We had Michael the Towels, sold towels. We had John the Fruit, sold fruit, and we had Paul the Cheese, who sold pizzas. And I kind of thought, well, everyone said you don't need to do the knowledge anymore, there are sat navs, but you do need to do the knowledge if you want to get your green badge, and if you don't get your green badge you can't pick up off the street. Then the big fear came in with the Uber, which is you're not technically not allowed to pick up off the street, but if you're wandering through London and you need a cab, you can book a cab on your phone. But what you do is you go on your phone, what cabs are near me? Oh, there are 3 cabs 2 minutes away. I'll book that one, and 2 minutes later it just rocks up. So chances are it's even quicker than waiting to put you. I mean, in the old days, if you wanted a cab, you went like that, and then one was necessarily passing, it just pulled up. Now it kind of, you might have to wait 5 minutes to find one. Do the Uber, it's there quicker, which means you'd think that the black cabs would die. But he said they haven't. Admittedly, they're now advertising for people to go on their knowledge, because it used to be a license to print money and it's not anymore. So to actually do 3 years worth of incredibly intensive and hard training to get a green badge, which at the end of it just means you're going to make normal money, why bother? But those that are out there still running, I think are still turning a coin. They might not be getting rich, but they're certainly still turning a coin. And if you like the job, and he loves the job, he's happy, like, you know. So I think everything is going to change. I mean, when we get driverless taxis, how cheap are they going to be? Don't have to pay the driver's wages, so you can undercut everybody, and then it probably will be the demise of the black cab. But it's going to take a long while. And like I say, when it comes down to van driving and truck driving, there is so much more to it than just getting to the place. One of the guys did say, and I think it's one of the wisest things I've ever heard in the comments, which he said, for a very solitary job, you need a tremendous amount of social skills. And I think he's bang on with that one. So we'll do a little video on that. Give me something to do. I'm not driving lorries. You won't get many more trucking life on the road. Although, chances are there will be time. Dave's on holiday. Can you run the truck for a week? Yeah, of course. So I will be back in, and then we'll get to see different trucks. Yay. Right, miscellaneous this week. Steve Campbell. Oh, he's in prison again. The nefarious, because he's the nefarious Steve Campbell. In fact, more than miscellaneous is Steve today. He says you can do what you want in prison if you don't get caught, or if you have permission. It is only your body that is in prison. You are still free in your mind. I drove Constitution Hill into the Mall and hired a Luton van a couple of years ago. They pulled me the red police cars, yeah, because that's they're the ones with the guns, and told me that trade vehicles are not allowed on these roads. I got away by saying it's my own equipment and I'm moving from Sunderland to Durham. Steve, stop it. He said, can you imagine Pete getting arrested? Sunday Q&A coming live from HMP Bedford, featuring his cellmate Dodgy Dave. Well, you'd have to dig him up first, bless him. We cremated him about 4 weeks ago. I'll give the eulogy, carry the coffin. He's a good mate of mine, but that's something that's not beautiful because it's nice. He was a good man. Still, so, yes, I don't think, you can't do Q&A from prison, Steve. They're going to cotton on very quickly that I've got a phone in there. If I'm doing Q&A from prison, can't write me books and I just have to write with a paper and a pen, and I'm a word processing kind of guy. But so that's it. Done that this week. I've got everybody booked out for Monday. Getting the hang of the shipper thing. Like I say, the more I get the hang of the shipper thing, when other things come up, I'll do little videos on that one. Show the other side of the velvet, peek behind the velvet curtain now. And the sun's coming out, which is handy because I can stop this video now. It's just getting ever so warm in here. We'll do some few videos now. You can watch the tomatoes grow. We'll do them on a time lapse. There's peas, beans and French beans behind there. Probably put them in the wrong place. They probably won't grow because they'll get no light because the leaves will block them out. But, like I say, we learn as we go. You don't not get involved because you don't know how to do it. It's by getting involved you learn how to do it. Why do we fall over, Master Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves up again. I'll make it good, Alfred. Yeah. On that note, have a wonderful weekend, guys and girls. And take care. And take money.